Hi, welcome to the Empowered Woman Podcast. This is a place for you to learn from inspiring women how to empower yourself through self-love. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire.
On this bonus episode, recorded live inside my Facebook group, the Empowered Woman Community, I talk about social media and stress. I share some pretty crazy stats in terms of how this platform can cause so much anxiety, especially in the time we're living in, what women around the world are saying about it, what a fine line it is between staying informed and contributing to the hysteria, and also specific tips on how to calm yourself down. Let's dive in. So I want to share some statistics that are pretty impressive and incredible in terms of stress and social media and how many people attribute their stress to social media, except we're still addicted to it. It's crazy how it really has such a big impact in our daily lives, and especially in the season that we're living now in terms of the coronavirus. And I was a part of a networking event last week, Women of Denver, and we had amazing speakers and they shared some amazing information. And one of them brought some pretty impressive stats saying that 75% of Americans admit to daily anxiety that interferes with their professional and personal life. So anxiety and stress. So pretty much every single American experiences stress, especially at the moment that we're living now. I would say, 99% of Americans or people all around the world are struggling with stress right now because of the situation that we're living in. And out of these 72% are 35% of them attribute that to social media. So I would say almost half, and probably even higher now with what's happening in the world with, quarantine and coronavirus and all of that. And lots of people report sleeping at least 2 hours less every single day because they spend so much time on their phones. And I would say, again, because of what's going on right now, I would bet that people are sleeping even less because they're constantly bombarded by so much information, some of which is not really true or exaggerated, and it really contributes to stress. And let me know if you're being impacted by that. Even talking to my sister recently, she said that she's haven't slept. She's having a hard time sleeping, and not only because of the anxiety of the topic, but also seeing different things everywhere is really impacting our levels of stress, which lots of people are also saying, and it's being scientifically proven that stress can decrease your immune response. So it can really impair you. And talk about just how it affects your brain in terms of, am I sick? Right? You start feeling little symptoms and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm sick, maybe I have it. And you just go on this downward spiral of what's going to happen to me and everything. And so we're living some crazy times. And now I want to share some different things that people have told me, that people have shared with me, clients, friends, and some people that I know just online, telling me how this moment has been so stressful and how fine the line is between getting informed and really contributing to the hysteria for yourself and for others as you're sharing these fake news. And so Jennifer Lynn said, people tend not to fact check what they see on social media. So misinformation gets shared over and over and over. And that definitely contributes to the hysteria, right? And let me know if you agree with that, or if you have any other thoughts. Please let me know, and I'll be sure to read some of your comments. I am live on Facebook recording this podcast episode, so I will share some of the comments as well. I take everything I see on Facebook with a grain of salt. I rely more on real life experiences, friends who work in hospitals, friends in other states and countries that have first knowledge when it comes to what is happening in their area. I'm weary of many of the news sites too, so I'll try to fact check before I share anything. So do you try to fact check before sharing anything? And what's hard is that even before sharing, if you're just looking for information, you see those things, you might get stressed out just by reading it, even if you don't share it with somebody else on social media or just with a friend, privately, it can still add to stress. And I've had several people tell me that they thought about uninstalling Facebook and other social media apps because of the whole thing. And another Jennifer said, having 3 kids at home and trying how to effectively work from home while the kids are not in school, it's stress enough without reading everyone's comments and all the fake news and everything. She said, I actually vowed to myself I wouldn't post about the virus because I don't want to contribute to the hysteria. And if people are getting their source info from Facebook, they shouldn't. Prior to the virus, I could take Facebook with a grain of salt, but I think the stress of kids and work and being home, not knowing when this is going to end, has caused me to not be so laid back about what I'm reading. And this is so true. I think we're using social media even more now because of what's going on, because we have extra time in our hands. So we're just scrolling through social media, except is not all positive. The situation that we're living is not positive regardless, but because of what's going on, it's even more so negative, and it can really, really affect you. And hi, Michelle. So she's joining us live here on the Facebook Live. I'm so excited to be recording this episode for the podcast, for the Empowered Women podcast live, so that more people can weigh in. And let's see. I had a pretty cool tip from Amanda McLernan. She actually works with social media, and she's an expert in social media. And she gave a pretty good insight in terms of what's happening right now. It's so incredibly important to check in with yourself on how you're feeling on the emotional guidance scale. And if you're a part of the Empowered Women School, I will be teaching a class on all of this, on the stress, and I will be showing images on that on the emotional guidance scale. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it, but it's a really, really great tool for you to self-assess how you're feeling. And if you're already pretty worked up, then you really, really have to practice self-discipline and not put yourself in the position of being bombarded by all these fake news again. So if you're already feeling low, then keep yourself from looking at social media, looking at the news. And I've had to do that myself. So a couple days into the quarantine with the kids not going to school, I decided I'm not going to be on social media all day, and I'm not going to watch the news until nighttime with my husband, when we're just going to be together and we can talk about it. So you should really become more aware of your feelings and analyze, is this too much for me right now? Take a break instead of just reading. And I can't help but think about the people that work in the news industry, how overwhelming this can be for them too, and how they have to take these measures of not being so exposed to this all the time. But if you don't work in the news industry, it should be a lot easier for you to stay away. So really, really pay attention to how you're feeling. And if you're feeling okay, if you've done your meditation, you've done your breathing work, which are some of the suggestions that I'm going to give later on today, then yeah, go ahead, go check, go watch, but pay closer attention to how you're feeling before you start diving into all the craziness of social media and the news. And then Chelsea said, curating your feed. So that's really important. And that was one of the things that I suggested earlier this week, is that, did you know that Facebook has an option for snoozing people? So I know unfriending can be going too far, because maybe you really love, your friends and people that may be oversharing stuff, and it's getting to the point where it's too overwhelming for you. So if that person keeps posting that, it doesn't mean that you have to stop being friends with them and unfriend them or unfollow them on Instagram. Just snooze them. You can choose not to see their posts for 30 days. So I would highly recommend you do that. I've had to do that with a few people. And actually, even before the whole coronavirus thing, I decided, I respect this person, but seeing their posts is not making me feel well. So again, you have to be aware of how you're feeling. And it's nothing bad towards them and nothing bad towards you. It's just you assessing how you're feeling. And so how do you snooze? Michelle is asking. So if you click on the top right, I think the 3 dots of somebody's post, it will give you the option of unfriending, unfollowing, and then there is the option of snooze this person for 30 days. So that is perfect. You will not see their content at all for the next 30 days. They will never know, and they still see your content. They can still interact with your content, and you can still go to their page and see what they're posting if you choose to. You can still go to their page, see their posts, and comment and like, but you don't have to. So that's the beautiful thing about that. And then it's not like you're creating animosity towards people. You're just really preserving yourself. And so again, curating your feed is huge. Not exposing yourself to things that are making you feel bad. Why do we tend to do that? Become aware and distance yourself. And then Abigail Walker suggested a pretty awesome article that she wrote for medium.com. That's called Social Media Hiatuses, Do Not Disturbs, and Other Tech Fasts. So I can share the link to this article that she wrote even before this whole madness. And she shares amazing tips like charging your phone across the room when you go to sleep so that you're not tempted to falling asleep with the phone in your hand, or even first thing in the morning when you wake up, going and checking your phone. So she writes this whole thing about how she took a break off of social media and she was able to really experience life better. And of course, when she wrote this, we weren't in quarantine, but she talks about, how she appreciated just people watching when she was sitting somewhere waiting, instead of just grabbing your phone the entire time and playing on the internet, and scrolling through social media. So it's a matter of really decreasing your dependency on social media, which I feel like it's been getting harder and harder because it's really a fix. It's kind of getting that mini dopamine rush when you grab your phone and when you see people commented on what you posted, or if there's something new development in this whole hysteria. So really preserving your heart, which really is my message here today, is you paying closer attention to your emotional and your mental health. Because we're talking so much about keeping yourself physically healthy, right? Making sure you're not, exposing yourself and others to the virus, but how about what you're consuming? So I will give you some tips about that in a minute, but I did want to share some other perspectives from other people. Again, Alex said, I've contemplated deleting Facebook off my phone, and she said it's hard because I have to keep up to date with the latest economic info for work. But then I tend to fall into the rabbit hole of the news. So really pay closer attention. Are you doing this because you need to for work and for other reasons? Like I said, if you work in the news, then you probably have no choice, but you do have a choice in terms of how much, right? Once you're done with that. And then Michelle, who's watching me, said, making sure you take time to breathe. So that is going to be one of my tips later on when I do give tips on how to, besides, what I'm saying, curating your feed and giving the tips from the women that have contributed to this episode and to this video. I will share some of my own tips and the things that have been happening. She says, that really makes a difference. I have ASD, autism, panic attacks, and I overthink about everything. Doing my controlled breathing really makes all the difference. Now I can deal with things I never used to be able to. So that is huge. Breathing is so important. And even in the self-love exercise that I did inside my Facebook group and that I have made available for everybody, you can just go to marchasburke.com/self-love mirror. You can learn the self-love exercise that does include breathing. So that's one of the resources that you can go to and check out to help you in this crazy time. So let's talk about something positive, right? So we're talking so much about craziness, and I do want to share some positive things. So this is one of the things that I mentioned, is that with this whole coronavirus thing, all of a sudden, at least a handful of problems that we had went away because you can't leave the house or because it's just not a priority anymore, which means we worry so much about so many things all the time. And again, the importance of being self-aware. Am I over worrying about this situation? I just need to let it go. We tend to do that so much. And so this situation is really a huge example of that we have to take a step back and really choose the things that we need to focus our attention on. And so I asked and I said, let's look on the bright side. Let's give me some things that are positive with all of what's going on. And Paget said, getting anywhere on time. I used to be super stressed between getting the kids ready to work and to school, being on time to appointments, getting paperwork done in time. I have ADHD, so paperwork is super stressful for me. But now we have to be nowhere. My kids can nap or not nap. It doesn't matter because we no longer beat the same drum. We're no longer slaves to the clock. So that is huge too. What is something that you can see positive in this whole thing, right? To help you bring your spirits up. I know, environmentally speaking, there have been several reports of how the earth is already responding in a different way with less pollution. And the canals in Venice are clearer, and dolphins have been coming by closer to swim because there's no traffic and there's not as much pollution. So there are good things coming out of this. Why not focus on that? I know that that's not what is really popular when you're thinking about ratings for the news, but why don't you actively choose to look on the positive side? Jennifer said, no rush hour last night, and she posted a picture. There are barely any cars out in the streets, here in Colorado at least, and let me know where you're at. I know in some places, just yesterday in California, they decided that it's permanent lockdown. So if you are not going to the store or you're going to a pharmacy, nobody should leave their houses. It's not in effect here in the United States just yet, but it's very possible, right? That's what they're doing in Italy. That's what they had done in China as well. But there are things that you can look forward to. Let's see. Priscilla said, ticks. I was very concerned about ticks. Yeah, don't have to worry about that if you're not leaving the house, right? And for me, we had the lice situation with the kids. So don't have to worry about that because they are not going to school. So no ticks. Let's look for some other positive things. I don't have to worry about what people will think about what I'm wearing. Turns out my husband and my kids don't care. Lisa said that. And then Alex said, leggings and whatever warm top I want every day. So see, there's a perk there. You don't have to get ready for work every day. And for me, because I've been at home so much, with the kids for a long period of time, and my work is super flexible as an interpreter, I actually do enjoy getting ready. So it's nice that I've been getting ready to do these lives, and something exciting that I started doing, if you follow me on social media, I started recording Disney songs. I did that a long time ago, like almost 10 years when I first moved to the United States. I decided to do kind of like a mashup in English, Portuguese, and French, because these are the three languages that I speak. Finding Disney songs, finding the lyrics for all three languages, and kind of changing each verse is a different language and just recording it. And I was like, let's bring some positivity into this world because I'm all about positivity. And so I recorded, I'm in the process of recording and making actually fun videos with that. And I'm posting it in my YouTube channel. So I will post the links for that too, so you can go check it out. And it's been exciting. So now I'm like polling people and saying, which song should I do next? Because that's, can bring people some smiles and some hope in this difficult time. Like, this is the time for like entertainment to really, really shine because we're stuck in our homes. So I'm trying to contribute with that, not only with my positivity content, but also with some music. So I will be releasing new clips. Oops, sorry. Little call there on my phone. I'll be releasing new clips every day while my kids nap, which they're napping right now. So if you have any suggestions of songs, let me know and I will work on that. So let's talk about some tips. So what can you do then? We talked about curating your feed so you can snooze people. And we talked about really a self-assessment, right? Being aware of your emotions. If you're feeling really, really, really stressed, then put your phone down, turn the TV off. Go read a book. So first and foremost, self-awareness. And then what is something that you can do to actually calm yourself down? And actually next week inside the Empowered Woman community, I will be talking more about calming yourself and different practices to calm yourself. But let me give you some hints of things that you could be doing besides, just reading a book. And there are several meditation apps that you can download on your phone. And there are different length of meditation. So you could do like a 5-minute one, a 10-minute one. So I will list some of them in the show notes too, but there's one called Insight Timer. There's a Calm app. There is another one too, that one timer. I don't know. There's a few. If you just look for meditation, either on your iPhone or Android, you should be able to find different apps. Plus, there's millions of videos on YouTube too. And one thing that I have found recently that has been amazing is doing breath work. I don't know if you've ever heard of Wim Hoff, but he has a whole program on breath work, and it's different techniques, and it's actually proven to help you with your immune system, so with your immunity. So I highly encourage you to go check that out, and I can put that, I can share that link as well. But basically, anything that you can do to develop self-awareness. And in terms of that, this is all that I've dedicated the last 3 years of my life to do, is help women improve their self-awareness. And I feel like more than ever, what I have to offer is relevant because it's all online. So I have something called the Empowered Woman School, which is a virtual school. It's a collaborative platform. Well, I have every single member be not only a student, but also a teacher, because everybody has something to teach, whether it be a story or an expertise, if you're a business owner or a professional. And so inside there, we talk about different topics. We talk about stress. We talk about self-love and empowerment. And I have two versions of the school. One is all in Portuguese for my Brazilian friends, and one is all in English. And I have several different video classes. I release them weekly in there, and I also interview students or ask students to teach classes. So it's an awesome way of using your time at this downtime that we're living, that you can just consume good content. There's no negativity in there, and there's no mention of the coronavirus. It's all about you tuning into yourself, different journaling exercises and prompts that you can do, breathing exercises that you can do. So if you're interested in that, I highly encourage you to go check it out. It's $27 a month, super affordable. And for everybody that joins me live inside the Empowered Women community, I will be gifting them 1 month inside the school. So for Michelle that's watching me, I would love to gift you that 1 month free, that you can just, watch all the videos, go through all the resources, and then decide if you want to continue or not. But you just go to martaspurk.com/store, and you can find the school in English and in Portuguese. You just click on there, you sign up, and start enjoying all the content. Instead of, scrolling and finding negativity, go join the Empowered Woman School. All right, so I think I covered everything. Let me know if you have any questions or additional ideas for topics of things that I can cover. I do want to do this weekly. I want to come on live inside my Facebook group. Again, it's called the Empowered Women Community. And you just join in there, and I will be planning different topics, and I will be sharing more information that I gather from other women, because I do want this to be, everything that I do is I want it to be collaborative. I want us to share our thoughts, because it's so important too, and it really, really helps us emotionally to talk about what's going on inside of us and to hear from other women what's going on inside of them too. So love, 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 love this. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. I hope this encouraged you today. Stay strong and know you can empower yourself, even in a moment of worldwide helplessness. Just focus on what you can control, which is your thoughts and emotions. Don't forget to connect with me on social media or send me an email, and check out all the links in the show notes. Until next time, bye.